your host, Shannon, and today we're chatting about men embracing natural hairstyles and growing their hair out and the variety of influences that shape that journey, including family. So, with me today, I have my very own brother, who is also an expert car salesman, Q, to talk with us about his journey as he's been growing his hair out and embracing new styles. So, Q, I'll turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about your journey with your hair.
It's definitely been a journey. It's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. So it's something that I'm really glad that I've done. It just makes life a little bit more exciting. It's kind of like personal development on a whole new level. Something you can actually see and feel like it's tangible. So I don't know. Life's been more exciting with hair.
I love that. And I feel like it's a funny question to kind of ask men, for women, oftentimes like we're asked like how long have you been natural? But we have the experiences of like getting
Eternity.
stressed, you know what I mean? And like having heat on our hair or getting perms and having heat damage or like perm damage or all those different things. But for a lot of times with men, y'all don't necessarily have that experience of perms. So it's kind of like you've been natural your whole life. But I'm gonna ask you
Even
how
though
long
in Atlanta, you never know these days. I mean, there's a lot of experimentation going on.
with
I feel
hair.
like, yeah, with hair. I mean, in Atlanta, especially, like people do some crazy stuff with their hair. I haven't gotten to that phase yet, but I don't know what the future holds.
That's fair. I think it is a great space to experiment, and it is kind of like the hair capital of the country, in my opinion. But so, with the caveat of all of that, how long would you consider yourself to have been natural, or I should say, trying different styles and growing your hair out?
It's been like a 3 year journey since I've actually made the decision to start growing my hair out. I've always had like afros or whatever, but it's been about 3 years since I decided to just like let it grow, and to see how long I can let it be and that type of stuff. So it's been an exciting 3 years. It feels like it's been fast. Like at times, it's different phases. Like you feel like your hair's been the same length forever, and
Mm,
then some months you feel like, oh man, my hair's really growing like super fast. So it's a roller coaster. But like I said, life's more fun with hair. It's been like probably one of the best decisions I've made.
I love that. I love hearing that. So, as you started your journey, right? Because it was about 3 years ago. I'm curious, what were some of your influences that just helped you to decide, hey, this is something that I want to take a step out and try and transition from froze to saying, like, I want to try twist, I want to try braids.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, you being my sister, you've always had, for as long as I can remember, you've always had long hair and things like that. And actually, when we were in middle school, when I was in like sixth grade or seventh grade, around that time, I actually had braids for a little bit. I mean, I had like no hang time, but I tried it, and then I think the fact that I had no hang time, that's kind of like frustrating for me as a kid. When you're older, you understand patience a little bit more, but back then it was just like, man, my hair not long. It's embarrassing. So I kind of like just gave up on the braids. You know what I mean? But I would definitely say you were like one of my bigger inspirations. Just always seeing like how full your hair was. You know what I mean? Um, but now, it was just like something I always wanted to do. So it just came to a point where I'm like, I'm not getting no younger. I might as well just see where I can go with it, and it's been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And I think it's so funny that you said in middle school, like you did have braids, and it's kind of like when you're younger, you see a thing that you want, right? And I think there's this
Mhm.
instantaneous gratification that we want with our hair. And honestly, for some people as adults, you still want it to have the look that you want. And it can make it frustrating to not get that, but being older and developing that sense of patience and understanding to say, like, if I want this, it's going to take time, but it's worth me trying
Yeah,
is
and
really
now it's more like a game, like or it's like just another level of development. You go to the gym and exercise, and you expect to see results. You invest in your hair and like certain products, and then it's exciting to see the results, so that's something I'm grateful for in my adult life. Just different perspective on hair.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, like you said, it's just like instant gratification. If I can't have my hair long like yours, I don't want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a personal development step. And I think it's interesting because, like, we're growing up, we're siblings, just the two of us, right? So you were able to see, like, me being able to experiment. And I feel like for women, like, I went natural. Like, I had long hair, but after I got to middle school, like, I started to straighten it too, and so it was straight for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And going to college, I started to learn how to do it myself. And I feel like women had this movement of, like, we're learning twist outs, we're learning our natural hair. And now I think, like, men seeing that movement has kind of like shifted them into this movement too, of saying, like, I'm gonna try these twists, I'm gonna try these braids, I'm gonna rock them, I'm gonna embrace them in my settings, whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm definitely noticing more men like with longer hair. Like, I've been in Atlanta my whole life, but definitely in Atlanta, like I see a lot of younger kids with long hair. I see a lot of people like closer to my age growing their hair out. They might not all like have it like long, like super long,
Yeah,
but I definitely see more people like embracing like longer styles.
yeah. And as you've embraced your styles too, I'm curious, as you've been looking for styles, like thinking about what you want to try, are there any particular sources of inspiration that you look at now as you're, on your journey?
It's crazy because, obviously with like social media, the more stuff you like and like pay attention to, the
Hmm.
more stuff it shows you related to that. So like when I was
Yeah.
first doing different styles with my hair, like first starting to see length and stuff like that, I would like follow stylists, to see like who I could go to do my hair. And so then eventually my feed just started showing me like more and more stylists, different
Hmm.
braiders and stuff like that. Or like you see like celebrities, like Drake has like braids now. So like he posted this girl that does his braids one time. I looked at her page. She did like all type of crazy designs. So
Yeah.
um social media has definitely been like a good way to just find like different styles to do. Like I
Hmm.
pretty much keep it simple with like box braids, like what I have now, or like two strand twists. Cause at first it was like, okay, my hair isn't like super long, so I didn't know how certain styles would look. Like my hair
Yeah.
not having like as much length as the people in the videos. But that's another exciting part. As your hair gets longer and longer, you can step out. There's more possibilities available to you. But I pretty much just keep it like consistent with the box braids or like two strand twists. Those are my go tos.
Yeah. So, one, I think it's so funny because before this, I didn't even realize that you called your braids box braids, right? Like, that's a term that I know, but I think, right, like, just learning the languages, you're getting more familiar with your hair and identifying, like, the names of certain styles is even a step in education, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because as a guy, I'll tell my friends like, oh, I'm finna go get like some box braids, and they'll be like, guys can't have box braids, like those are like plaits, and I'm like, well, my stylist call them box braids, so when I tell her I want that, it's easy. She know exactly what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna call them box braids, and they're like, bro, like just call them plaits, like she'll still know what you're talking about. I'm like, nah. If I say I want this, she instantly knows. So it just became a habit to call it that, and it's
Yeah.
all the same to me.
We just
I'm
have to
like, as
keep
long as I can communicate with my stylist and get the look that I want, I'm gonna talk to her in her language.
absolutely. And you mentioned your friends, right? As you've been on your journey, how have you seen your friends, either be inspired or influence your hair as well? What does that look like?
So my best friend Gabe, he actually had like longer hair. He had grown his hair out before me.
Hmm.
So I gotta give him a little credit. He was an inspiration too.
Yeah.
But he had longer hair first, but then he cut his hair off. And then I guess once he started to see, me growing my hair and my hair thriving and stuff like that, he was like, okay, I'm about to grow mine back out too. So, he started growing his back out. He got good genes too. So I mean his hair been growing fast. Like he trying to catch me. I can't let him catch me, but so he's my best friend. So I think once he started seeing me grow my hair out, he was like, oh, okay, I gotta get back on.
Not it was a competition.
Yeah. I can't let him catch me though. I've been drinking my water. Been taking my vitamins.
Right, because healthy hair also starts from inside of your body as well.
Yeah, definitely. It make you pay more attention to like the foods that you eat, drinking water, exercise, all that stuff. Like it definitely helps me keep track of like my health just in general.
Yeah. It sounds like you embracing your natural hair and your journey has given freedom to your friends to also embrace it and vice versa, right? Like y'all have been kind of at these different steps and points, and seeing each other has been able to allow you to say like, actually, I do want that look, or, oh, I think that's cool. Like, because there's community there.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely community. And then even just like with other women, like, I'll be in a grocery store and they'll ask me like, hey, who did your hair? You know what I mean? So it's not like, just men, like other women will come up to me and ask me about my hair, or I'll ask them, like I'll sit down, I'll be like, hey, you know what products are you using or something like that, or, just different tips,
Yeah.
so it's definitely a community thing, so it just makes it more exciting.
Absolutely. And you mentioning products, right? It just makes me laugh because I'm thinking about the first time that you came home, and like we were both older, but we were both at home, I think for the holidays, and you wanted to get twists done. And I was like, sure, I can try and twist your hair. And I like had my products, and we're looking at your hair, figuring out what works, and like running to the store with half of your hair twisted,
Yes.
trying to get some products because we ran out of stuff.
Yeah, looking crazy in the store late at night.
You've experienced something that I think a lot of women have experienced. But since then, right, like what has maintaining your hair started to look like for you today as you've been able to learn more about your hair, and have your relationship with your stylist? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, at first, it was just in afro form. So it was a little easier back then, like I could get away with not wearing like a do-rag or something like that because I didn't have to like worry about my hair like fuzzing up or something like that. Or, I could just like put more stuff in my hair. I could just kind of like massage it into my scalp or whatever. But now as my hair is getting longer and I'm keeping it styled, the routine has gotten like a little bit more intricate. Like definitely have to wear my do rag every night. I have silk pillowcases. Um, just like different products that I use. It saved me time in some ways because like now that I keep my hair styled, I don't have to like wash my hair myself like in the shower every other day or like every couple days, however often I was doing it. I can just leave it styled and then like that once a month or twice a month where I get it redone, I just let my stylist wash it for me. So it saves me a lot of time by keeping it styled, and then I just have like little sprays that I put in it every morning. So I've gotten it kind of down pat. Like I'm pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, no, I right, like it's a journey. You've learned so much, and you've come like so far, and it sounds like you've been able to like partner with your stylist to learn and get that education as well. Um, I'm curious because I know that you've also mentioned sometimes like having a barber as well. So like what does that dynamic in that relationship look like in
Oh
your
yeah, as
team?
a man, you always gonna have your barber. Like your barber is always gonna be the most consistent person in your life. Because I can only speak for me, but like I have to get my hair like lined up every week. A lot of guys do like every other week, but the braids, these will last like a whole month. So, I'll see my braider, my stylist like once a month, but I'm gonna see the barber every week. So the barber, that's definitely like a major key, because even if I wanted to just wear my hair out or just like take the braids out and wear the twist out or whatever, still gotta have that fresh lineup. That bring it all together. Like if you don't even get your hair done, if I just wanted to put it in a bun or something, as long as the lineup is crispy, oh, you good to go. So yeah, I would say for men, invest in the barber first, and then the barber can actually help you find a good braider.
It's a priority tier in terms of your hair care maintenance team.
Yeah, yeah. So get right with your barber first, because he gonna take care of your facial hair and everything. Like you can't have the nicest style and then your facial hair is looking all rough. You know what I mean? Like you gotta get your priorities together first. Like if you can't take care of just your hairline, then you're not ready to invest in your whole head of hair.
We got to work our way back. We got to work
Literally.
back with the hair.
Yes. Yeah, literally, you gotta work your way back. Get your hairline together first. Then you ready to tackle the next obstacle.
I'm curious, right? Because you mentioned that you work in car sales as well. And so like you've been embracing your natural hair, you've been embracing like braids and twists. And what has that looked like in terms of how you've been navigating just spaces at work as well?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I first got into car sales, I was really young. I was like 21. And, typically that's like a job for like older people. I was 21 and everybody else was kind of like in their 30s and older. So I remember, one of my managers coming to me, and no fault to him, but he was in his way trying to look out for me. And he's just like, if you want to take this serious, you should invest in like a cleaner look, like a professional look. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because in their mind, they just didn't want you to have any reason where people wouldn't want to work with you or, spend their money with you. So, me being young and impressionable, I was like, oh, okay, I do want to take the job serious. So, let me take their advice. They're successful in the business. So, I'm sure they know what they're talking about. So let me take their advice. So I cut off my hair. And I'm talking about like wave length. And me, like growing up, like I always at least had like an afro. So for me, that was like challenging. Like, my self confidence wasn't all the way there. Like,
Yeah.
my sales was good. I can't attribute that just to the hair, but my sales was good, but I just didn't have that same level of self confidence. So even outside of work, dealing with people trying to make friends or, meet women, that type of stuff. So then after being at the job for a certain amount of time, I realized like, looks is important, but as long as you are confident in yourself and your abilities, the job is the job. And if people don't want to associate with you because of your hair, that might not be a client that you needed in your life anyway. So once I realized that, I was like, you know what? It don't matter how I look. You know, I'm professional at my job. I'm good at my job. I can do it with or without hair. So that's when I kind of decided to start growing it. You know what I mean? So I went back to the afro, and then the sales just increased. Like my
Mhm.
clients would ask me about my hair, like or give me compliments on it. So stuff. I feel like certain things that aren't even a big deal, sometimes we amplify them and make them a big deal. But I will say I committed to keeping my hair like nicely done. Like, if I am gonna have hair and work in a professional setting where I'm dealing with people face to face, I keep my hair done. Like I get my hair lined up every week. I get my hair redone like once a month if it's braids or every 2 weeks if it's like two strand twists. So I do believe in keeping it nicely done, like keeping it neat and not letting it be kind of like, rough looking.
And I think, it sounds like you had to combat some stereotypes in terms of professionalism, right? And where you've landed now
Yeah.
is more of like your preference in terms of how you would like to maintain your hygiene with your hair as like a part of your personal hygiene, but learning to distinguish that from saying only these certain types of looks are professional and combating
Mm-hmm.
what somebody more senior who maybe has grown up feeling more constrained. We don't know this person, right? But I think as we've seen other younger generations come, like we have had some more opportunities to embrace our hair in these other settings. There's these other things that are pushing to make sure that we have agency for our hair in professional and personal and private settings. And so you having the opportunity to say, hey, this is something that I want to try, and realizing in doing that the car sales were coming because that was your skill set, right? Like you were more skilled, you were more seasoned, you had grown in that. And the clients that were the worry before actually, were interested. They were not at all concerned.
Yeah. They were giving me compliments. And it's really just about confidence. You have to, they say look good, feel good. So if you have something that, makes you feel good, that's just gonna help you, you know, tackle life, That's just gonna help you, feel like the best version of yourself. And stuff that you thought the whole time was gonna be an issue, you realize that sometimes that allows you to bond with people. Like, it's like tattoos. I know this podcast isn't about tattoos, but it's like some people are like, oh, I don't want to have tattoos because in a visible place because that's unprofessional. And then some people like they compliment your tattoos. Oh, you such a cool person. I love your artwork. Let's work together. So stuff
Yeah.
that you might have thought was a barrier to entry is actually something that opens the door for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's real. And right, it gives other people freedom and confidence and assurance too when they see you showing up. When they see you being confident in yourself, it's kind of like, okay, like maybe I could try that. Or, it's at least curiosity to learn more. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's just like empowering the next person because, I feel like at the end of the day, everybody has a version of their self that they want to be, but then they kind of let society put those constraints on them like, oh, in this setting, you shouldn't behave like this or act like this or look like this. So then when you see someone thriving in their authentic self, you kind of feel like, hey, okay, they doing their thing and they being their authentic self. Maybe I could try to be myself a little bit more. It's working for them. Why can't it work for me? Or those people gravitate towards you. They want to work with you. They want to do business with you because they see you genuine. And I think people resonate with genuine people in a world where everybody's trying so hard to be something they're not,
Yeah. Yeah. Snaps. Yeah. I genuinely agree with the sentiment of genuine people. I think that once we're honest with ourselves and we embrace what we want, like it reflects in how we carry ourselves. Like you said, it boosted your confidence, it made you happier, it, made life more interesting. You get to have fun. You get to try different styles. I'm curious, what has been your go-to style as of late, actually, in experimenting with the different styles?
So I pretty much just do like the box braids for the most part. At first, I was really into 2-strand twists, so I was doing 2-strand twists like constantly. That was pretty much like my only style. But for like financial reasons and also like time saving reasons, my stylist kind of guided me more to doing the box braids. Because with 2-strand twists, they unravel. Like within like a couple weeks, or they start to unravel. So I was having to go back like every 2 weeks. And as a car salesperson, I only get like one off day during the week. So it's like, dang, do I really want to spend every other off day committing to sitting in the chair, getting my hair done? It takes a decent chunk out of your day. So then once I was able to switch to the box braids, it's like, okay, now it's lasting longer, spending less on getting my hair done, because it is an investment. But yeah, pretty much my go-tos have been those two styles. And then like birthdays or like special occasions if I'm traveling, I might spice it up a little bit. Like I did some really cool braids last year when I went to Vegas. I had to send you a picture. I think I might have showed you, but like those are pretty cool. Like they had like a pattern in them. I don't do too many patterns. But and then for my birthday just recently, I had 2-strand twists. But at the scalp, like in the parts, there was like a braid element to it. So that was kind of cool. I got a lot of compliments on those. So at this point, I kind of just spice it up on like holidays and like special occasions. And then I just rock the braids for the most part.
You got celebratory styles.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as we begin to wrap, for those who are listening, for men who are thinking about, embracing their hair, trying to grow it out, trying different styles, what are some thoughts that you would share with them?
I would just tell them to just, do what makes you happy. You only get one life. So, you should live it in the way that, makes you feel most confident about yourself. It's a journey. So, I would definitely say a major key is to find a good stylist, someone who can kind of educate you or like, just help you along the way. So a good stylist is definitely a very important part. But I would say just do it. The cool thing about hair is that you can always change it. If you don't like it, if you're not feeling it, you can cut it off. If you enjoying it, it's only going to continue to get longer. So, it just makes life more exciting, and it definitely just gives you a new perspective.
Awesome. And final question. If there was one affirmation that you could say to your hair right now, what would you say?
If I would have one affirmation, I would say just to trust the process. Like I feel like with hair, like especially mine, I can only speak for mine, but I feel like it has like phases. Like you got like these rapid growth phases, and then you have certain months where it's not growing as fast as you want. But I know something that you told me. A quote from the Lion King that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So you just gotta keep going. So yeah, that's why I tell myself, like, just trust the process, and keep doing the things that I know are beneficial. And yeah, and maybe I'll catch you one day.
You might. Wise words from Rafiki in the Lion King.
Shout out Rafiki.
Shout out. Awesome. Well, Q, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us today. For those listening, thank y'all for listening in. And remember that all hair is good hair and your hair is good hair. Until next time. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, make sure to hit the subscribe button, leave us a review telling us what resonated with you, and share this episode with someone else who you think would also enjoy our conversation. You can follow us on social media at Your Hair Made Simple, and also keep up with us by joining our newsletter in our podcast description. Until next time, thanks so much for being a part of our community.